should rent or if they should buy.
Right.
We got a phone call, and this family is wanting to move to the area. So they're moving from one of the states that should not be named.
What's it start with?
Oh, it starts with somewhere on the West Coast.
California. Okay.
So they're moving to this area, but they don't know if they should rent or if they should buy.
Right.
I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios. He works remote, she's completely remote, and they have kids. They have family that lives here in the valley, but they don't know where they want to land necessarily in the Treasure Valley. They're considered, some of the things that they brought up in the conversation is they care about school district. They care about like good quality schools. They care about being around other people that have the same age kids as them. And then the one concern they do have, though, is buying a new construction house. Like, they want to buy a new house. So they don't want to buy a used house. They want to buy a new house.
Right.
And when buying a new house, the thing that they're concerned about is with new home values going down or the builders giving incentives, they don't know what to do. Should they wait for the market to correct a little bit more and rent, or should they buy a new construction house? And their plan is when they move here, whether it be 6 months, a year, or 2 years, I think it's within their 2-year plan, they will be in that house for 10 years if they were to buy. So they do know. They already asked this question, like we asked those questions. Are you okay seeing negative equity? And are you okay being in the house for 10 years? Both those answers were yes if it's the right house. Based off of that situation, would you tell them to rent, or would you tell them to buy, or what other questions would you ask them?
Well, first I would ask, have they been to the area?
Yes,
that's my first thing.
They grew up in the area.
They grew up here.
They left for work-related stuff before everybody.
Okay, so they've been here. They know the area. They know what's going on. When's the last time they've been back?
I think they visit every couple of years.
Okay, so they know what's going on in the area, and they're from here. I mean, with the 10-year plan, I mean, that's always good to go into, as we always talk about, because there's so many unknowns currently in the market, and there's always unknowns year by year. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
And I think if they find a place that they're comfortable with, and they're comfortable with the payment, and they're comfortable with the house, and they like it, it's a win situation for the 10-year plan. That is, if they're saying, hey, we're only going to be here for a year, or we're only going to be here for 3 years, which most people say 10 years, and they really mean 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think we always cut that in half. I mean, everybody always says it's going to be my lifelong home, and they end up being there for 3 years. Yeah. And, I mean, thankfully for the last couple of years, it's been really good for people. They're able to cash on equity and go do something else. But lately, in the last year and a half, it has not been good for people.
Right.
So I think it really comes down to them planning that plan. If it is really 10 years, I mean, I think they're in a safe zone. Yeah. I mean, they may overpay a bit, and the values may drop, but hopefully within 10 years it comes back. But it's such an unknown. I mean, how do you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I think most people just have to be happy with the purchase they make. And, we always preach, or you always preach as well, is if people move in the house, they have to be happy with the situation, because if they're not, they can't get out of it currently. Mm-hmm. There's so many people that bought in the last 6 months that are not happy with their home, and there's nothing they can do. They have to wait. Right. They're stuck on the plan.
Something that I just brought up is, keep in mind, if you buy a house without putting around like 30 to 40% or even more, you're gonna not be able to rent that thing out.
Correct.
Right. So you have to have the down payment to put that amount of money down.
And why can't? I mean, I understand why you're saying they can't rent it out, but explain why they can't rent it out.
The reason being is because, let's say they buy a $600,000 house, and that $600,000 house, so now they're going to need roughly, that 30 to 40%. They're going to need anywhere from what is that? We're talking about $180,000 to $240,000 as a down payment. Mm-hmm. If they don't have that as a down payment, so let me just put that down here real quick: $180,000 to $240,000, and that's just their down payment. The reason being is that brings their mortgage down to a spot. If they don't like the house and they can't sell it, there's a lot of equity right there that can be eaten up in the market correcting itself. But if they didn't want to see those losses and they wanted to rent it out, in order to get a payment that's going to make sense to rent it out, they have to put that kind of money down.
Well, I think this is what you see a big problem with, especially everybody criticizing everybody putting their listings on like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and all these places. People are laughing at their what they're asking for rent. I mean, they're asking say $2,500 to $4,500 a month for an average single family home. But I don't think what a lot of people realize that haven't bought homes is this is the exact situation.
Yeah.
They overpaid for a home. Their mortgage is huge. They're trying to cover their mortgage and make a little bit on top, renting their house out. That's why, it's just going to keep going exponential until rates and prices come down. Is there some greed in there? Yeah, there is. But most people, I think, are in this situation where they thought they were going to stay in there. Now they're like, I need to move back to, California, Oregon, or Washington because my job's calling me back. I'm stuck with this massive mortgage. Now it's an investment home because it's not my primary. My taxes are going up, and I'm kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I have to rent it out. So they're gonna have to take a loss every month, or ask for huge numbers. But I digress.
Yeah.
But that's the situation that's going on here.
Right.
That could potentially go on.
Yeah, and that's kind of those are the couple of things that we brought up to them is, okay, if you have $180,000 to $240,000 and you can put that down, that's going to get you to a spot where if you need to leave the area, you can at least rent it and get that.
Let's be realistic though. Most people cannot put that down.
Yeah, the only way
Most people
the
don't
clients that I've seen that have this kind of money is either they've been saving for a long time, them and their wife have been very frugal, and they've really pinched pennies to have a solid amount of down payment.
Right.
The other people, and these are local people, that just they were just frugal. But for the most part, the other situation is people are selling their house and they have equity, this kind of equity to put down. If they bought in 2016, 2015, 2014 in the area, if they bought in another area and they're bringing the money from a different state, then that's a whole other scenario.
It's great that if people have this, that's awesome that they're doing that. What I mean by being realistic is most people can't fathom having that amount of cash in one. Not that they can't do it, they just haven't planned for it. And it's a shock when it comes to real estate. They're like, what do you mean I need 20% down to buy my rate down and have a decent mortgage?
Yeah.
And we talk to so many people who are still in the frame of mind of first-time home buyers, grants 3.5% down, but then they go into this market right now, they're buying a $500,000 home, all of a sudden their mortgage payment with 3.5% down and maybe some grants is $3,800.
Yeah.
And they're like,
right.
What? I can't do this. So they continue to rent, which that's why a lot of scenarios are different. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off here, but so many people are struggling with this exact thing right now that I talk to.
Well, and so let's wipe this down payment out, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they have just the normal 3%, 3% or 3.5%. Let's just say 5% because it's easier math for me to do. So they have $30,000. So they've saved up $30,000, which means that their mortgage is going to be $570,000. Now, something that it's not a very popular thing for agents to do, but what we've done a lot is okay, let's figure out what this mortgage is going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say they have a 5% down payment, and so we're talking about $570,000 as their loan. I'm going to drop this to 6.89% just because that's what we're seeing a handful of people do, and this is assuming their credit score and that kind of stuff. So their payment, this is not including taxes or insurance.
Well, let's include taxes.
Let me just get the payment. So the payment itself is going to be $3,700. So we're talking about $3,750, and this is just principal and interest. So now we got to add taxes and insurance. So your insurance, what we've seen is the average insurance is an extra $100 a month, and then a house for $600,000. The taxes. So this is going to be insurance, and then the taxes are probably going to be around $150 a month. And so this is T for taxes. So that gives us a total of $4,000 a month. So this is what I've told people, and this is why we've talked so many people out from buying a house right now. There's going to be a time, and there's time that makes sense. But if you have only 5%, so $30,000, and your monthly payment is going to be $4,000 a month, which is insane. That doesn't include mortgage insurance. I don't know, we can't really calculate mortgage insurance because that's all based on your debt to income. But let's just assume mortgage insurance on this scenario is going to be $250, right? So I think that's a fair number. So mortgage insurance at $200 because you're not at the 20% DTI. So this is a mortgage insurance. So now we're at a payment of $4,250 a month. Now this is what's crazy. So you can't even buy. You might be able to get a $600,000 house. You're looking at maybe a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 3-bath house in North Meridian. Because remember, this particular situation, they want to be in new construction. They want to buy a new construction house. So $4,250 a month. Now let's jump to Zillow because I'm curious here. So if we jump to Zillow, what could you rent? And this is the question that I brought up to this couple is, what can you rent for $4,000 a month? Or even what could you rent for $3,000 a month? So this is the Meridian area. We're going to go kind of towards the new construction, which is going to be over here. Man, look at all these houses. $2,600, $2,500 a month, $23,000. Okay, that's $3,000 a month. So this is a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot, listed for $3,000 a month. But I think that might be a little high priced. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Look at this, 2,600 square foot, 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath for $2,600 a month. If they were to turn around and buy that, we're talking about that $4,500 scenario. So they could be ahead so much more.
Well, and then you come to the point where people are going to attack and be like, hey, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. I mean, yeah, you are. But here's the thing is you're not stuck.
Right.
You're in a lease. So like the market, people have a right to be pissed right now. Mm-hmm. It's not, I can't stand the equations going back to the 70s and 80s and interest rates and here and that. People are struggling. Income's not where it should be at. Savings are being eroded. And people are paying $4,500 for a house a month. That doesn't include, I don't know, groceries, utilities. Like if something goes wrong, you're outside your 1-year warranty phase on your house and your HVAC goes belly up or something happens, right?
Right.
What are you going to do? So you spend all that money a month, you're going through your savings, and you have an irrigation leak. What are you going to do? Say your bill's $10,000 to fix your irrigation.
Yeah.
I mean, what are people going to do? Like, this is why people are stressed out to the max right now.
Right.
It's insane. And people are buying homes. That's why there's a lot of remorse going on too as well.
Yeah.
But I can't say that for everybody because this situation right here, that might be okay. Like in their situation, $4,500 might be a steal for them, depending on what state they're coming from.
Right.
They could be paying $6,500, which is, I can't even fathom that right now, but that could be, and a savings of $2,000 right now is huge to them. And they have their own piece of property. We have clients that have came from the other states that type of payment is gold to them. Mm-hmm. Like I know people that come from different states and they're paying $6,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo apartment. Yeah. And that's all they could afford in the city they're in. So they leave and they're paying $4,000 a month here in this current housing market. But to them, they're happy.
Right.
So I really think it depends on the situation. But I think overall, most common sense or the average American is going to be like, that's a lot of money. And I really need to pre-plan for that. And I think a lot of people are going through that situation right now. Right. I have an example right now of somebody who's ready to buy at about $500,000 to $600,000 right now. They're renting at $2,100 a month in Nampa. Mm-hmm. And once we ran out the numbers and I told them this is where you're going to be at, according to the lender, they're looking at $3,800 to $4,200 a month.
Right. So what they're paying monthly doubles.
Yeah. And then the kicker is when I show them the houses they could buy, they're like, I would never buy that and I would not be happy. I'm like, then continue renting.
Yeah.
Like we're in a weird environment right now. Continue renting because you have options.
Yeah.
I'm not saying renting is the end game and you should just always pay somebody's mortgage, but like you have to be smart about some decisions. And people are like, it's only going to go up. Well, if it only goes up, then I think we have bigger problems than rent and mortgages.
Yeah.
Because at that point, nobody's going to be able to afford absolutely anything.
Right.
And people are going to care less about if they're renting or buying. They're just going to stay in the house or just squat in it. I mean, I hate to get to that scenario, but I feel like that's where we're headed. Right. It's insane.
Right.
And off to the weeds I go. But it's like
but I think that's why it's so important to really consider what you're buying, how much your mortgage is. Because
be smart.
all of these houses, right? We put a filter at like $3,500 a month. And we could go up. We could go to $4,000. But the problem is if you were to be one of those people that bought a house like that, you're not going to be able to rent it and that's what I'm saying is you're not going to be able to rent it for the amount to cover your mortgage. And if you're upside down in it, then you're not going to be able to sell it without doing some kind of short sale.
Going back to your original question, people moving here. I mean, it's awesome. They're coming to the area. They're looking to do this. If their plan is that, I mean, that's a question they're going to have to weigh out for themselves, and that's going to weigh on their heart. But they also have to consider that, say 3 years from now, the situation hasn't improved. They can't refinance.
Right.
I hate the term date the rate, marry the house, like we was talking about. If they're negative and their debt to income ratio is out of whack and the value of their house is not there, they can't refinance. And even if they could refinance, hopefully the rates are lower by then, they have closing costs.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword of what you're doing. So that's why really be happy and say, hey, this is my 10-year plan, and hopefully the situation evolves from there, or just pay the house off.
Right.
And make your 10-year plan just to pay the house off, that's what some people do.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a movement of people that are just paying their houses, they're dumping everything into they're just paying all their assets off, not their liabilities.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a tough situation. Josh, what would be your final answer to the situation? I mean, obviously, I know you've probably talked to these people. What would you educate them and advise them on?
Yeah. So I think the things that you got to ask yourself is, one, are you okay seeing negative equity in the next 2 to 5 years, and then are you okay being in there in 10 years? And if you can answer that question yes to one or both, and let's say it doesn't happen, right? Even though there's more and more evidence showing that that's going to be the reality in the next 2 years, we're going to see more negative equity than what we've currently seen. Even if that doesn't happen, but you were okay with that scenario, then you win, right? And let's say you're okay with it and it does happen, then you win again. But if you are going into this thinking like, I'm going to buy this house, and in 2 years, if I don't like it, I'm going to turn around and sell it, those days are gone unless you're buying the house cash and you're willing to take a loss. Right. And if you're not buying it cash and you're only putting 5% down, the previous scenario that you and I just went over, it's cost 7% roughly, give or take, to sell your house. And that's closing costs in all different avenues, right? From the title company to real estate agents to other things. And so we just use 7% as a plug-in number. It could be more, it could be less. And so let's say the market, you only put 5% down. Well, your down payment wasn't even enough to cover the closing costs for turning around and selling it. And so that's why we bring up those scenarios, because then it's the third scenario.
Well, there's nothing more than I love real estate. We live and breathe real estate. And I love seeing happy stories and, successful real estate journeys with people. But what I hate the most to see is distress.
Yeah.
And when you can see distress, instantly when people see their payments, you see the distress in their face.
Right.
And so my only thing is, you got to figure out, you're going to distress or you're going to be happy. But there's so many variables in between that you really have to calculate in. It's very difficult.
Yeah. Because then it goes to the next thing, is quality of life. And that's what goes to the payment, right? So okay, I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to have a $4,250 a month payment. And then you got to ask yourself, is that going to give me the quality of life? Because people who move here, the reason why they move here is because they love the outdoors. They love being active. They love going camping or taking the razors out or, going skiing and all that kind of stuff. And so then the next question is,
well, we know why they're actually moving here, but yes.
Yeah. There's political refugees.
I know, yeah.
Like
totally.
There are political refugees. But the things that draw people to be here is the being able to be active. And then that leads to the next question is this monthly payment going to allow you to be and enjoy what Idaho offers?
That's very important for your family.
Or can you go and rent a house at the same quality house and save $2,000 a month, which is going to free you up to go live a more enjoyable life? And then those are the questions that people have to answer themselves. We can never answer them for them. But if they say, yes, I can, yes, I'm happy with the payment, yes, I'm happy with this, yes, I'm happy with this, then jump into a house and be good with it. But use caution. Like, don't let fear of missing out be something that's driving you. Then all of a sudden now you're like, okay, kids are like, hey, let's go fishing. You're like, well, we can't go fishing because we can't even buy tackle, or whatever it may be. So, those are the questions that I would ask to then be able to coach them in one way or another.